Flipping through pages, you are introduced with the brands that created by Miss Min and run by Mr. Kim. There was another shareholder of this company which covered more than half of shares. You never heard about it before. Mr. Kim had stated decade ago about the secret. Marriage with Min family's only daughter and had child together. As a husband, after wife's death, he had taken over the shares and promised to give it to their daughter after she grew up, and 30% was donated in the orphanage home in the name of Miss Min. You licked your lips. You were surprised, reading it carefully. The last pages were a charity record of Mr. Kim had done in the name of his second wife, Mrs. Min, and the little daughter, Wyan. Mrs. Min's daughter is mentioned as taken care by her father. The events mentioned all are unknown to you. You never knew that your mother died 12 years ago. Why Kim family lied to you? Your breathing changed. It was also mentioned that Mr. Kim had given equal shares to his both daughters, but later on, Yvonne snatched it from you. The rest of shares are for Mr. Kim's both sons. Your surname used to be Min. Later on, Mr. Kim gave his surname to you. The things that belongs to Mrs. Min were not totally credited. These truths are hidden from you that made you sad. Brief explain. After the accident, it takes you to recover 2 months in a normal condition. You don't have such a past memory about your mother. Doctor said that you had been hit on the head by some subject that damaged some function of your brain. You might or not remember your past memory. It's all depended on your development of recovery brain. Sometimes you might find strange like you are feeling dizzy and head spinning, the full of floor covered with blood flashing, and you are feeling like nauseous. Your body will be trembling and have some illusion like you're escaping from something. When your head felt heavy and you try to remember something, you will see some of the person, but then you will felt like you are dreaming after you wake up. You had confusion and the inability to recognize familiar faces or places sometimes. Severe illness and high fever, emotional stress, brain begins to lose sharpness of memory and power of reasoning and understanding, and it was something related to that particular post traumatic amnesia. Sometimes you felt afraid of darkness. That's why when you sleep alone, you will always let table light on dimly. You just wouldn't know why, but for no reason. You were afraid because you couldn't remember the reason of it. You just felt that it's not protective or important enough to be remembered because of a gross memory. Wipes previously made memories. Wanting to know something about your past haunt you, and your head started to hurt. This was the cruel fact. No, your eyes got teary. My mother didn't abandon me. She was expired and got killed instead. Why did they lie? Your face turned bitter and remember the words Mrs. Kim said. Your mother doesn't love you and left you. You are legitimate child of her husband. Why? You bitterly smiled. Why did Mr. Kim never reveal it to you? Why everyone put you under darkness? Why? It was a world-chilling affair. It shows Mr. Kim doted on you, giving equal care to his own daughter, an illegitimate daughter, and became good into their people's eyes. Mrs. Min never get credited as his wife, but his secret lover. Who to blame? They did dirty to you and your mother. Why they said something about your mother being ruthless and careless mother? You would believe it, and you had said countless times, I hate you. I wish you never give birth to me, a cruel woman. 2 drops of tears fell down from your eyes, Mom, and normal people have no idea how beautiful the darkness is. Manager Beak saw you are lowering your head for long. He hurried to you. Miss Kim, what's wrong with you? You slowly raised your head with scarlet eyes, tears rolling down from your cheeks. Manager Bake panicked. Miss Kim, why are you crying? He is really a good father. You forced a smile with teary eyes. You felt a little dizzy. Now you really have to be grateful to him as he turned his back to you. It's his nature after all. Whether it was marriage or shares, his scam against your mother. Everything you let it go without complaining and thought you should be a good daughter. Manager Beek saw you forcing a ugly smile while crying. Miss Kim, that President John might be in the meeting room now. If you are something to say, I will call the assistant song for you. No, don't bother. You wipe your tears. I had liked to see evil's faces. I will make him recognize this face. So, Mr. Lee, do you have anything else to do except for that piece of land? I don't allow the Lee Corporation to invest in the shares. Jungkook take a middle seat and discuss. There was 5 directors who came to have meeting from entertainment circle as well. Hae-sang wasn't in that piece of land anymore. He just came here to confirm that if you work in the Hive enterprise or not. In the face of Jungkook not wanting him to get involved in that land, Hae-sang chuckled. Since President John does not intend to cooperate with Lee Group, there is nothing we can do, but I hope we can work out one day. Anyway, Hive Enterprise is getting bigger, involving in a lot of business, and we wonder employers must be very professional. Hee-sang glanced at others' directions. Jungkook naturally have a majestic position with successful life. Grown director know a lot about Hive Enterprise. Jungkook smiled slightly. Of course, after all, Hive Enterprise is the first group of Asia. No matter if it's about market advertisement, technology, or artists' development. Hive isn't sort of any financial problems. I'm not only one who pay attention to such an enterprise. You had bought American company as well. No wonder. Looking at the aura of 2 successive youngers, remaining directors couldn't help but feel nervous. So, Jungkook looked at them calmly. I don't get the main point. Why would President John hire such a person who didn't even graduate from high school yet? Could it be that Miss Kim struggling to work here? Hee-sang is looking down on him. Mr. Lee, you are overworried. Jungkook smiled. We treated our employees equally, experienced or fresher. We gave equal value and trained them as our own person. As a relatives, you must be worried, and I can understand, and you can rest assured because Hive Enterprise still cares about company's worker. They are very happy able to work in this company. I have accepted your appointment letter of wanting my employer's work situation. Wasn't it too much for people to know about others' business? In a word, one was a candy and other was a whip. Give them face in the front and warning at the back. If someone came in his company to talk about something unimportant, wasting his time. Simply the President Jones' time is money and business. People who dare to offend him won't end good. Oh, is that so? Hee-sung's eyes darkened as a multinational company's president. Jungkook is a public figure. So he had to deal with unnecessary things sometimes. Mr. Kim also requests to see his daughter, showing his concern about his daughter's public affairs in the news being John Jungkook's unrequited lover. President John must understand my situation. Mr. Kim know the best. Mr. Kim, can you make it clear? Jungkook looked at Mr. Kim calmly. Mr. Kim stated, I don't know why the media and rumors are often heard about wine and President John. I don't think 18 years old girl can help much about business for President John. Mr. Kim's words are trying to provoke President John as his daughter let carry negative news about Kim family, which they suffer great loss and you are completely ignoring your father on the phone. This made him very angry. Hee-sang wore an evil smile and 2 directors broke into cold sweat. However, Jungkook just smiled with his politeness. Mr. Kim, for the sake of you being elder, it's my honor to answer your suspicious, but since it's about Kim family's matter, I don't dare to involve it in it. Even if there is something between me and her, isn't it legal? She is already adult. The gentleman's sudden change into pronouns made the environment gradually condense. It's normal for superior to have kind of affection for his subordinates. It's her freedom and I don't interfere about media. Jungkook literally, but Mr. Kim insisted on asking Jungkook about you since they wanted to witness something as your superior aka husband. About the shares that Min Group had was all held by Kim Group and present people will not know about this secret. No one can threaten you because the Kim Group's chairman made legal documents for it, right? Jungkook coldly smiled. Mr. Kim's face became ugly. Jungkook had opened his most of secret, even his son narrowed his eyes. President Kim, in order to take the half of Min's shares, you have done a lot of work. Don't Jungkook. Mr. Kim stood up. How dare you slander me? When it comes to this matter, Mr. Kim no matter cared about Jungkook's identity because he realized what Jungkook knew, his shady business and doings. Mrs. Min was the majority shareholder and chairman of the Min Group, but certain persons were always after money and reputation. The former director was lady and today's brand was planned by Mrs. Min. Mr. Kim panicked somehow. John Chonguk, you are insulting me. I came here to see my daughter. This matter was something to do with Vian. As her boss, I think it is necessary to let the outside world understand that Vian doesn't own the Kim family. You, Mr. Kim's face changed. Please don't talk about it. You are blocking my way to see my daughter. Jungkook waved his hand. Boss Kim, I had promised that I would make it up for her, not only things people owed her. There is a saying that when you ask for mercy, you should let it go. As a president of multinational companies, Jungkook took initiative to invite reporters to witness, and Jungkook had warned them to not write any false rumors. One of the reporters was Kim Chung-ha. She didn't know what was going on there. She worked in the commercial newspaper and she got invitation to come here. Jungkook glanced at the person in the conference room. In fact, I have been looking for an opportunity to deal with this matter since Mr. Lee and President Kim had made an appointment to come at Hive Enterprise, and just in time, I also had something to ask about my subordinate. Wine. The shares that Kim Group took over was originally belongs to Min family, and this was only few people know. Mr. Kim didn't expect it that Jungkook would dig out such a thing one day. He's not sure what relationship Jungkook has with Min family, but that he even asked if Mrs. Min's murdered was just an accident. Years ago, this news was very sensational, and some people must be very devastated after Mrs. Min's death. She was a very kind person. Even his son's eyes slowly moved to Mr. Kim. Jungkook must know something else. How Mr. Kim occupied all the shares of Min Group and didn't donate to the charity as he said. John Jungkook, what has the matter of Kim family got to do with you? Mr. Kim's face was definitely pale after hearing too much. No man will bring his illegitimate child to rise if there is no beneficiary for him. The shares was written in your name by your mother. Mrs. Min were one of the lady who has her own pride and character. Jungkook even provided Mr. Kim some evidence in that year. The marriage registration had done after Mrs. Min's death, so it's clear that Mr. Kim didn't got married to Mrs. Min, but all he did was for the share of Min Group. Mr. Kim had no strength to change the situation since these things had come to the media's view and he will be point out cheating behind someone's death. Chung Ha didn't spare any words to ask about more and keep her recording on. She didn't expect that your father had so much shady things behind your back. At the end of the time, it was just people wanting to bully the girl who had died mother as a boss. Jungkook will normally extend his hand to help his worker, Mr. Kim was no more in mood. His song didn't speak for long. It surprised him to know about this truth, but it was just between families matter. He had nothing to do with it. It takes you long time to digest the fact when Manager B came to alert that President Kim and Crown Director Lee had come. Hello, President Kim and Crown Director Lee. Nice to meet you. Mr. Kim and his song saw you were sitting next cabin. You slowly stand up, eyes never leaving that particular files. There was a picture contents of your childhood self with your mother. You slowly raise your eyes to look at Mr. Kim with your red eyes. Mr. Kim's face was almost pale all the way. When he walked to your cabin, he was even more stunned. You really work here? That's good. He sang, narrowed his eyes, and stared at you, but you were not in the mood to give him that shot. You just emotionlessly looked at Mr. Kim. Why would I be here then? You really don't have trust on me? You smiled bitterly. Do you have something to say to me? You raised the file and showed it to him. Why this? Mr. Kim didn't expect that. Jungkook had already told you. His eyes shape changed, narrowed to bigger. Why, Dad? Your hands trembled. Mr. Kim sweated. You never told me about this before, making me mistakenly think that my mother left me. Mr. Kim looked at the document uneasily. You got it. Dad, can you give me an answer? Your eyes are wet and still hot liquid trying to stream down. Mr. Kim was also angry. What do you want to know? Do you want me to compensate you for Miss Min's accident? I had reason behind this to hide things for your own good. I came here to call you back. You were really good. Liar, isn't it? Why do you think that it's a compensation for me to go back to Kim family? To let your reputation and happiness ruined in that house. To announce how genuine he was to treat it equally to his illegitimate daughter. It's simply ridiculous. Why, it's our business and we can sit and talk at home calmly. You don't have to make it fuss here. Mr. Kim said fiercely, with being ashamed. There is nothing to say. Why come back after work? Don't make me angry. He turned around to leave. He was exposed to his old thing. You clenched your hands. What right do you have to speak in front of me? It was really ironic. He took a deep breath and looked at middleman's back, walking out of the scene. So you were with John Jungkook just to let him do this for you? Haesung mocked. The girl who rely on others to earn benefits for herself make him sick to the come. Lee Haesung. Do you see now? What else do you want? Haesung looked at your red eyes. His brows knitted. Did you already know about your mother? Why didn't you mention it to me? I already knew. You felt it was funny with your temper. How would you let him play around with your emotions? If I had knew earlier, although your words are like a thorn piercing into the hard spot of his heart. Are not you and Umji are so in love that you broke all our promises? Now you see I have someone's backing. You laughed. Why are you with John Jungkook? His voice seemed to come out of his throat. Hey Sang, are you jealous? You scoffed. Do you still like me? What if your fiancé knew about this? Will she be so angry that her heart stopped beating? Why, he grabbed your neck with his both hands and pulled you closer. No matter what connect you have with Kim family, don't involve them into your business. Manager Baek reacted and widened his eyes. Mr. Lee, what are you doing? Looking at man with anger, you smiled sarcastically. Are not you protecting Umji? Lee Hee-sang whined. His face was terribly gloomy. You know how to irritate him so well. Just so you thought that he was about to lose his temper, he loosed his grip and strode out of the office. You gritted your teeth and your little fists landed on the table. Manager Baek called CEO's office. After receiving call, Jungkook immediately came and saw your little face being red with anger. What happened? Tell me. He grabbed your wrist. You just looked up at him. Say it. He pulled you up. Manager Baek and Minho let out a sigh and left the space. Jungkook sneered to your stubbornness. Come on, follow me up. This little creature have so much rage. Under employees' gazes, Jungkook pulled you all the way into his office and locked you into his arms. He hugged you and kissed your back. He is willing to perform physical acts of attraction on you, and he shouldn't be doing that to anyone. What he just done is show you the level of emotion he has for you, as well as professional, some degree of exclusivity to let you know he's there for you. He wants to take things up a notch and cup your face. Your eyes meeting his, and you slowly leaned in. Thank you for helping me out. He cupped your face between his big palm. You are wearing high heels and even tiptoeing. At this time, you are not in the mood to be intimate with him. What are you doing? You pushed his shoulders. He continuously loosened his grip. No one has right to leave any aura on you. This little woman belongs to him. He has earned it.